Okay, then here a video on a tapered satin. So like there was a challenge was put out in the group on this image. So I loaded the image into Inkscape, and now that I'm selecting the image, you can see here I got this set basically for a 4x4 hoop, so 95 mil. And there are quite a few curved satins in here, so I'm zooming in now a little bit. And how would we go about digitizing these satin? Well, most of us they would go and just create a rail over top and a rail on the bottom and go and combine and then set the params. But because they are tapered, I would recommend to do them a little bit different. And first, what I want to do here for a moment is measure the width. So as I'm zooming in even a little closer, take the measure tool and check how wide we are. We are 1.3 millimeters there, so that is a really narrow satin to begin with. I would almost recommend and make that a touch wider too, yet that you can have at least the 1.5 mil. Then what I do is for now that I have the image loaded, go and lock the image, or first I want to turn the opacity down so I can see my lines a little easier, and I turn it down to about 50%, and then I go and to the layers and objects panel and lock my image. So now I cannot move my image anymore, I cannot do anything with it. So now that we are ready for the digitizing of it, what I would do is start with a Bezier tool, and I would start here in the middle and create a line going to the end, and then go to the fill and stroke panel, change it to a dashed line. Then I set my params, InkStitch params, and the lock stitches. We can change the stitch length, we can change that for that matter to the 2 mil or whatever your preference is. And the lock stitches, we only need the lock stitches at the beginning, so that is before, and then apply and quit. So now what we are doing is we are creating the extra tie-in stitches over here and not where we are starting the satin. So then I'll go back to the Bezier tool, and now I'm ready to create my rail. Now that I have this running stitch created here, the last node, I have to stay away from that a little bit, because otherwise it will connect right away to the last node there. So I can make that adjustment a little bit later, and I'll go make here part of the rail, make an adjustment on my rail, and then I'll create my other rail, go node select, make an adjustment, and now I can, for that matter, I can make this end really tight. And we may decide it might be better off and curve it a little more or this or that, but this is just for demonstration purpose on how I would digitize it. Now I see that my running stitch is not really nice down the center, so we need to make an adjustment there. Oh, gotta make sure. Probably have to zoom in closer to select it, and I'll adjust some of my nodes a little bit. Also, what I want to do is create an extra node there for a moment, and the reason for that I will show you a little later. So that is the first part. Then we end up over here with the rails. Then we go okay, that is the rails. Now we put our rungs for the stitch direction, and I use the pen tool, and my pen tool, my preference I have set right now a little different. So then we'll go and select the rungs and select the two rails, and we go path, combine, and it changed color now because the last object what was created, that was one of the rails of the rungs, and that was green. So if we want to convert it back to a red, then we can just click that and change everything to a red. Can change the line width for that matter. Then what we do is we go with the Bezier tool again, and we go and create a line to the end over there. Change the stroke style again to a dashed line. Extension InkStitch params. And on that one we do not need any lock stitches, so that is on neither. And we can set here the running stitch length again. That's a 2, and then apply and quit. Then we go and with the Bezier tool again, and we start on this end, and we can make as many points as we want or as few as we want, and we join that one up over there. Then we make the next rail, then we can, if we want to, make them really tight again. We can move the nodes here. So now we have the two rails. Then we're gonna create the rungs, so we can always control the stitch direction. Then we go and select them again, hold down the shift key, select my rungs and my rails, and path, combine, and I'll change that one to a red 2 again and make them narrower. And I think I did not apply any of the stitching to the rails yet, so I select both of them, extension InkStitch params, and then we go and change it here to the satin column, and then we can set our preferences, and we do not need the since I have both of them selected now, I should we should do this different. I should have taken this one by itself, extension InkStitch params, and there 2 again, switch over to the satin column, and we don't need any lock stitches, so that is neither. And these settings, they can be changed according to your preference. Then apply and quit. We did an apply and quit on the running stitch, And now this satin stitch, we'll go and apply the params on that one. Go to the params, and on that one we only need the lock stitches at the end, and then we go apply and quit. And the reason why I would digitize it this way, that way, since there is more space over here, we getting the extra lock stitches over in the center where there is more space, and they would not be as visible. If you would create them here on the end, since you have small stitches already, and then you're gonna get your lock stitches, you're gonna have a lot of small stitches right on the end of that satin. And so now to select, and then if you so desire, if you want to check if everything is going the right direction and whatnot, we can also select everything, and we can apply a marker, and you can change the width of the marker depending how visible you want it. Then now that I have them all selected, I want to make sure too that I have for all of them this the proper color, the same color, and there we should have all the items should have the right color. And then we can go extension, InkStitch, and we can go and visualize for a moment the simulator. Oh, as you can see, the simulator is always a good point for just double checking if you applied all the params. And I did not apply the params properly on that last part of the satin, so we close out of here, deselect, and only select that satin, extension, InkStitch, params, and there we go, custom satin, and there we only want to have the after. And there we go, apply and quit. And now we double check it, extension, InkStitch, visualize simulator, and there you can see now we have a satin stitch. The stitching starts over here where there is space, where we're getting the lock stitches are being hidden afterwards by the satin, and it will continue stitching over here on this end, then do the satin, then go the running stitch, go to the point again, and then come back, and we get the last few lock stitches right where they're joining up. That is how I would digitize them, and that hopefully it will help you. And otherwise you may get also little bird nests on the point because of the small stitches and the extra lock stitches. Okay, hope this is going to be helpful to you, and have fun digitizing. Okay, thanks for watching, and take care.